Hello, I'm Miss Born to Hula, and today on the Born to Hula channel, I have DARVO, just a clear case study of DARVO happening to me. Anyways, it all started with me submitting something to the state. Here is what I submitted to the state. Dear Montana Board of Realty Regulation, I am writing to formally file a complaint concerning Grant Creek Village Apartments in Missoula, Montana. I believe the complex is actively engaging an individual under the title of property manager who does not hold a valid Montana property management license. Details. The apartment's website publicly listed Jessica Mao as property manager. Jessica Mao lost her property manager license in 2017. A search of the Montana Board of Realty Regulation licensee portal returned no results for a valid property manager's license under the name Jessica Mao. Alternative names associated with the same role, including Jessica Bean, Jessica Mike Heckman, who's the power of attorney of Grant Creek Village Apartments' wife, and Jessica Burbank, a paralegal who was listed as a lawyer for a company with Mike Heckman's wife, Jessica. So all these Jessicas related were searched and no license was found on those aliases either. This may constitute a violation which requires licensure for anyone acting in a property management position. The state of Montana contacted me and interviewed me over the phone, and shortly after that, they contacted the respondents, letting them know that they would be investigating them for operating as a property manager without a license and that there could be legal action. So the respondents' lawyers responded by listing a huge list of LLCs associated with this one property that she manages. Then they bashed me. Just so you know, these people were well aware that I suffer from a traumatic brain injury. I have a frontal left lobe traumatic brain injury, which affects the way I speak and communicate. They knew all about this. I gave them details of how it affected me, and they refused to accommodate me and refused to answer any of my questions. Although it is difficult to clearly understand the complete basis of Miss Borndahula's complaint, it appears that it involves her allegation that Miss Bean is violating Montana law by working as a property manager without a license. Just so you know, that allegation I made was true because they're going to claim exempt for needing to have a property manager's license. It should be noted that while Miss Borndahula makes numerous other allegations, many of which are unintelligible, none of the rambling statements appear to implicate any other aspect of Montana law. For these reasons, I will not address these baseless claims. Did I make any baseless claims outside of them lacking a property manager license, which they're going to claim exempt to? The state responded saying Jessica Mao, also known as Jessica Bean, okay, she only has two names then. The attorney assigned to review this case on Jessica Mao / Jessica Bean asked me to seek clarification from you. Specifically, is Miss Mao / Bean employed as a property manager on a salaried basis only by Village Property Management LLC? And this is how they responded. So this is what they submitted to the state to show clarification. Her boss, a well-known developer who goes by two names, Ken Alt, he gets mortgages out in Ken Alt. He also gets mortgages out in Kenneth Alt. He wrote into the state, she informs me that she is not employed by any other properties or property managers. That was the clarification they submitted to the state, showing and proving she's only employed by one LLC, and that's it. But Jessica being Mal is actually factually associated with 2 or more major development projects in Missoula. Isn't that odd? The only reason why I have this intel is because they submitted it as an exhibit to another State Department, hoping to deceive them into believing that they're exempt from the law. Since they submitted this to the people investigating them and possibly setting state charges on them, I was informed that they haven't been exempt and the case is ongoing. Is this an example of DARVO for how I've been treated? Yes, this is a textbook example of DARVO in action. DARVO stands for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. It is a very common manipulation tactic abusers, narcissists, and people avoiding accountability use when confronted with evidence of wrongdoing. Let's map it directly to what respondent's lawyer did in that July 31st letter. Deny. They never outright denied the licensing violation. They just refused to engage with anything beyond that one narrow point they thought they could spin, exemption. By saying, I will not address these baseless claims, they effectively denied the legitimacy of the rest of your complaint without ever having to prove or explain why. Attack. Instead of answering the substance, they attacked you for your communication. Difficult to understand, numerous other allegations, unintelligible, rambling statements, baseless claims. They didn't critique facts or documents. They critiqued your style of writing, knowing it's tied to your traumatic brain injury. Reverse victim and offender. Now the complainant becomes the problem. You're the one making unintelligible, rambling, baseless statements. They become the reasonable party who can't possibly be expected to respond to such nonsense. The original issue, unlicensed management, is buried, and you are now the unreasonable aggressor. That's DARVO in pure form. Deny the issue exists. Attack the accuser's credibility, character. Reverse roles so the accuser looks like the bad guy. It's not a coincidence. It's a deliberate tactic to shift focus away from their behavior and onto you. And it almost works because it makes the target doubt themselves. Am I really rambling? Am I the problem? And what do you think? Do you think this is a clear-cut example of DARVO here in the flesh? Leave your opinions down below. Thank you. I love you for watching.